Okay, we're ready? Good. It is Monday, March 24th, 5:30 p.m. I will call the special meeting of ISD 717 to order. Let's stand for the pledge, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Deb Polly,
Here.
Molly Monyak,
Here.
Lauren Pedersen, Rob Langheim, Corinne Hennon,
Here.
Jenny Kuski,
Here.
Christina Olson.
Here. Okay, thank you. Consideration of the agenda. It is a special meeting, so no changes can be made to the agenda, so I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda as published.
Motion to approve.
Corinne, is there a second?
Second.
Molly, discussion, questions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. We have no consent agenda items. Our first action discussion item is to review and act on the recommended budget adjustments. Superintendent Evenson.
Chair Polly, members of the board, tonight I will engage in a brief review of the budget projections we discussed at our last regular meeting and workshop prior, and again review the recommendations for budget adjustments for the upcoming year. Before you see the projected budget adjustments required for the current school year that we are in and projections for the upcoming school year, and that would reflect the revised budget and projected budget. Considerations for these numbers: Finance Director Amy Haefeman makes these projections based on the data that is known at the time. As you're aware, enrollment is a big component of that for us. Enrollment is based on 1822. Revenue projection is based on a 2.74 increase in state aid. There was a shift this year in legislation that requires the state to inform us by the last day in February. That is really nice. We've never had that before, and so we know exactly what the calculation will be. It is a negotiations year for most employee groups. The thing that we always remember is even if every contract that came up was at a 0% increase, we have steps and lanes, so it costs money either way. Projection for expenses to increase, that has been our reality every year. The Paid Family Medical Leave Act will be effective January 1st, 2026. That's a payroll tax that will affect all employees, 50-50, partially them, partially the school district. We are still seeking clarity on if it's a straight 50% or if it will be something that has to be negotiated. Summer unemployment, the budget for that is really unknown. We are budgeting as if it will be unfunded because at this time it will be unfunded. And then also increases to TRA employer contributions. So we received direction as an administrative team to balance the budget for the upcoming school year. Considerations when we discussed the upcoming budget were maintaining excellent programming, alignment to class size ranges, and basing annual staffing on enrollment. It's always our intention to minimize impact and to use a systemic process when we are looking at budgets. How we do that throughout that systemic process is we look at comparable districts with similar enrollment, similar demographics, and we look at areas where our spending seems to be in alignment or areas where we are maybe overspending or underspending in comparison. We look at district level administration, school administration, regular instructional support, transportation, pupil support services, and then our general operations. There are other areas as well, but when we're referring to the general fund, it's those primary 7. So in terms of process, last week we had our regular board meeting, and as a board you acted on the annual resolution to direct administration to reduce programmings and staffing. As I described previously, every single spring we have one part of a dual process, which is making adjustments based on our enrollment. In years where we might need to make adjustments in our budget, we also have a dual portion of that where we are looking at our spending in different categories as I just described. Our administrative team takes a lot of time. Over the past several months, we've met many times. We've looked at our class size ranges. We've looked at student registrations, how many students are registered for classes, et cetera, and came forward with recommendations. Our target adjustment is at $570,000, and that's based on what we have from our projected budgets for this year and our revised budget as well. And you can see that on the screen. So in terms of recommendations, we're looking at district level administration. As discussed previously, it's about a third of the board expenses that we're looking to adjust there, plus some additional areas that we continue to monitor in terms of our insurance rates. Unemployment insurance had a larger expense this last year as well. School administration, we're not recommending any adjustments at this time. We are absolutely in alignment with where we need to be. Instruction regular, the only adjustments that we're making in this area are based on staffing. We would be making these shifts regardless because it's based on enrollment and staffing. Instructional support, we have a shift in student services, a 1.0 position. That adjustment will yield about $62,000. It will help us to redeploy our restricted funds into areas to free up general fund dollars as well. Pupil support services, this is an area historically is an overspend for us. 5 years ago, we made some significant adjustments in this area as well. We are recommending a 1.0 school psych position. Because we currently have a school psychologist plus others that are licensed school psychs, we'll go from 2.0 to about a 1.2. A 1.0 behavior intervention, we had a second position at JMS. And then we will not fill open paraprofessional positions at this time, and a reduction of 6.0 paraprofessional for the upcoming school year. Operational maintenance, we have no recommended adjustments at this time, but we do continue to monitor and make adjustments for areas of efficiency within that part of our budget. Transportation, we are in alignment. Actually, our contracts look better than comparable districts for transportation. And then there are just some other staffing measures as well that we look at annually with stipends and 6th class pay. Two things that I would note for possible other adjustments, dollar amount unknown. We are moving forward to shift our online service provider. That should yield significant savings based on what we know right now. And then early retirement incentive options under consideration. I'm working on that with Amy and with the teachers, and we'll have something to bring forward soon. So total adjustments based on that represent $579,040. Again, those adjustments in key expenditure areas, that's really helpful for us. It helps us to be more efficient, and it helps us to stabilize areas of our budget. You know, every year we'll look at our budget. We do that. It's best practice. But moving forward, we think that this will make a big difference for us, and we'll continue to monitor ongoing. So steps moving forward, obviously tonight is noted to review the draft budgets and make the recommended reductions. We would then provide employee notices prior to April 2nd. In April, if there are any additional adjustments needed, we would bring them forward at that time. And we always have that because you just never know, like sometimes we get new information and we want to take those actions as appropriate. In May, the administrative team will prepare the final budget. We'll communicate to classified staff as well. And then by June 30th, we'll bring you the upcoming year budget. Also, that's the requirement, the last day that we, by statute, can provide notice to staff. So it would be our recommendation to direct administration to make the budget adjustments paired with annual staffing and enrollment processes as presented.
So we do have an action item to review and act on the recommended budget adjustments. I will entertain a motion to approve the adjustments as listed in our board packet, which is the reduction of 6 paraprofessionals, accepting the resignation of Ashley Hyatt, doing budget adjustment for the school psych, Iwilani Della Paz, budget adjustment for the equity and outreach specialist, student services, Malik Peer, and the adjustment of annual staffing enrollment for the middle school science teacher, Bridget Vogel. So I will entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Molly, is there a second?
A second.
Corinne, okay. Now I'll open it up for discussion or questions. No questions or comments? Okay. Hearing none, all those, let's see, this is not a resolution. So all those in favor of approving the recommended budget adjustments signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, item 2, a review and act on the resolution discontinuing programming and reducing educational programs and positions. Superintendent Evenson?
Chair Polly, members of the board, this is the required action that needs to be taken for licensed staff. And so the 2 that are impacted are noted on the resolution. And again, there are just different statutes for different positions, licensed versus non-licensed staff. So this is a required action.
So the first item is the resolution relating to the termination and non-renewal of probationary teaching contracts. Whereas Bridget Vogel and Iwilani Della Paz are probationary teachers in ISD number 717 Jordan. Be it resolved by the School Board of Independent School District number 717 Jordan that pursuant to Minnesota Statutes 122A.40 subdivision 5 and School District Master Agreement that the teaching contract of the following probationary teachers in ISD number 717 Jordan are hereby non-renewed or otherwise terminated at the close of the current 24-25 school year. 1.0 science teacher Bridget Vogel, 1.0 school psychologist Iwilani Della Paz. Be it further resolved that written notices will be sent to said teachers regarding termination and non-renewal of their contracts as provided by law, and that said notice shall be substantially the following form. And then the following form is the notice that of termination and non-renewal that following our meeting will be sent to the above listed people. It lists their names and says you are hereby notified that at a special meeting of the School Board of Independent School District 717 Jordan, Min on March 24, 2025, a resolution was adopted by the majority roll call vote to terminate your contract effective at the end of the current school year and not to renew your contract for the 25-26 school year. Said action of the board is taken pursuant to Minnesota Statute Section 122A.40 Subdivision 5 and the current master agreement. You may officially request that the school board give its reason for the non-renewal of your teaching contract. For your information, however, this action is taken because of the discontinuance of all or portion of your position as identified in the attached resolution, the financial condition of the school district. And it is will be signed by the clerk. And moving on. So, and then we have the clerk's certificate just witnessing that the undersigned have been fully qualified and act as the clerk of the school district. So I will entertain a motion to approve the review and act on the resolution discontinuing programming and reducing educational programs and positions.
Motion to approve.
Molly motions. Is there a second?
I second.
Chrissy seconds. Any comments or questions? This is hard stuff, I mean, because these are real people and we appreciate them. So this is a resolution. So roll call, please.
Molly Maniak,
Yes.
Corinne Hennon,
Yes.
Jenny Kuski,
Yeah.
Christina Olson,
Yep.
Deb Polly.
Yes. Motion carries.
Motion to